Hi guys, Brant here, and welcome to another commentary video. Today, I wanted to talk about my experience with the 7-year anniversary, the Masquerade event. It's not going to be really like a rant video per se, but there's going to be some ranty elements to it because a lot of it is just kind of talking about like my experience while playing it, which was not particularly my favorite for reasons that we'll get into. But first, we're going to cover some of the positives. Is that I did enjoy like the first 2 to 3 days of the event. Most of the masks that came out of it are really, really cool. And I feel like a lot of last year's, besides like maybe like Deathslinger's Masquerade mask and like Huntress's, were kind of duds. A lot of them didn't look too great. But I feel like most of the Masquerade masks that you got as a reward for this event were actually pretty neat. There's a lot of really standout ones, like the Knights, Oni's is pretty cool. Even some of the Survivor ones turned out pretty good. Not Jeff's. Jeff's turned out bad, unfortunately. But like, you know, the quality of the masks seemed like they were better this year, which was a very, very welcome and happy surprise. Another awesome positive about the event is that there was little, when you got your little invitation, you got little power-ups on both sides. Survivors could very quickly bamboozle windows for short periods of time, so killers couldn't follow them through. They could also create what it amounts to Freddy's Dream Pallets, which they could use to stun the killer as a last-ditch effort. On the killer side of things, you could remotely break a pallet. You could expose down somebody if you entered Bloodlust, which is kind of like the only one I didn't agree with because, like, I don't know, I think rewarding Bloodlust in general is kind of just a silly concept, but that's a complete aside. But, yeah, so, like, the little abilities that you got, you also could activate, Pocket Enduring, like you had, like 3 seconds of Enduring you could activate randomly, which led to a lot of people running Hubris while playing Killer, just raw, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, I liked the little abilities you could activate, while you have an invitation. The only one, like I said, the only one I'm not particularly a huge fan of that I didn't enjoy was the exposed one while having Bloodlust. So the event abilities otherwise were super fun, and I'm actually going to thoroughly miss them once they're gone. So yeah, but that's kind of it for the positives, because I'm going to talk about my actual experience in the event, which I'm sure some of you also ran into, which was kind of ick. Well, now we're going to talk about the part of the event that I did not enjoy, which is the actual playing of the event, because after the first, like, I had, like, the first, like, couple of days of the event were pretty fun, because we were all discovering the getting all our masks, and we were trying the new event abilities and stuff like that, and it was mostly a fun time. But what kind of happened was kind of a shift in gameplay during the event, which kind of erred more on the side of extreme sweatiness, and here's kind of how it went down. So, in order to obtain your mask as Killer in Dead by Daylight during this event, all you have to do is grab the invitation. Once you grab the invitation as Killer, you're fine. You don't need to do anything else. You don't have to do any other prerequisite. However, as Survivor, when you grab the invitation, you have to make it to the endgame collapse in order to have it actually count for your mask. So, whereas Killers can kind of just like grab the invitation and play the game normally, Survivors have to play the game and win, or at least get to the end game, so get close enough to winning, essentially win like 90-95% of the game in order to obtain their masks. So what was happening is that Killers were just kind of just, you know, grabbing their invitations and then playing the same way they always do, whereas Survivors were realizing that if they weren't playing sweaty, they were going to end up in a situation where they weren't getting their masks. So Survivors, over time, as the event went on, realized that, hey, I'm not going to end up getting my masks if I don't, like, sweat to endgame. So over time, we started seeing the Survivor side of the game get sweatier and sweatier and sweatier because these guys realized that, hey, and rightfully so, like, hey, I really, really, really want my masks, and I'm not getting them because unless I sweat to endgame, it's not happening. So because of that, what I would even say is like an unfair a prerequisite of a difference of prerequisites. I feel like it's weird that they have different prerequisites to begin with. I don't know why it's not just we both grab the invitation and we both get we both play the game and we're fine, right? So the Survivors realize because of their extra prerequisite that they actually have to win 90-95% of the game, that they're going to start sweating more to reach that 90-95% of the game going to the end game collapse, which ergo in turn made the game sweatier in general and made it more stressful to play the game on Killer. So the Killers, I mean, my Killer game's way more stressful because by and large most of my games got way sweatier and way more intense and required me to play more intensely, just, you know, naturally more consistently sweaty, more than I like to. So that was stressful. And then when I would go to play Survivor, now Survivors now the Killers are used to playing super sweaty to try and counter the super sweaty Survivors. So all the Killers I was facing while playing Survivor were in turn playing super sweaty now and, you know, creating a super intense environment. So essentially, TLDR, the event kind of like, because of the difference of prerequisites between Survivor and Killer when it came to collecting your mats, kind of unintentionally created a very, very sweaty environment where Survivors kind of had to like turn up the heat in order to get their masks, which, you know, made Killers turn up the heat to put down their heat. And it's just like, now it's just hot in here and everybody's unhappy, right? And yeah, it's been like, you know, we had the fun streak and stuff, and the fun streak's still going. It's like 170 something right now, at least at the time of recording. But like, it's been really, really hard to have fun. It's been probably the most stressful time I've had with the fun streak since I've put it into effect. I've had the most trouble, not only just like, you know, trying to have fun in my matches, but like keeping track of it. And it's like I'm starting to get really, really fatigued playing the game of Dead by Daylight. I don't really get to areas of like huge burnout, but like I'm kind of getting pretty close to an area of burnout, because like I don't mind sweating in Dead by Daylight. It's a party game, so I really prefer not to, but I can, and I know how to. I mean, that's like what I'm, you know, teach people all the time on how to do in the match reviews, is like, hey, these are the sweaty things you would do if you super cared about winning and you wanted that W. It's essentially what I'm teaching them, right? But like, I don't like doing that over and over and over again. I'm a kind of player that likes to like match the energy of the opponents that I face. So if you sweat, I'll sweat. But if you want to be chill, I'll chill, you know? But like, it feels like 80 to 90% of my matches lately have been super sweaty. So I've just been kind of like operating at this level of high intensity for like weeks now. Like it's been like ever since the events come out, and it's just kind of like starting to drag on me. And I just kind of like want to make this video not only as a ventilation of just those feelings, but also just like to ask, has that been your experience? Have you felt that like this event in particular has been extremely sweaty? And do you think that like if we just made for the next event, made the prerequisites the same on grabbing the masks or whatever the event reward happens to be, that things would be better? Or do you think things would just kind of be the same if people just kind of sweat during events either way? Let me know down in the comments below, because that's gonna be it for this one. I thought I was vetting during this video. It's like, hopefully this helps. Hopefully this is kind of like a, yeah, everything's sweaty and then I would feel better. But I'm still kind of feeling like, because I'm like, I gotta go play the game tomorrow, you know? Like I'm gonna go play the game tomorrow, and I'm gonna be like, back into the grind. So I mean, hopefully I can find some sort of like solace that like you guys have had similar experiences. Once again, let me know about those down in the comments below. None of that. It's going to be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. But I do upload daily, so we'll see you tomorrow. But if I do not, we'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.